Hello, friends. Wow, it's a beautiful day here today. I know some of you may still be having snow, but oh, wow, it's just glorious. The sunshine is clear, the sky is blue. There's a few stratus uh clouds along it, but it's just a glorious day and it's the day of Christmas Eve. It's a fabulous day. So, Merry Christmas, everybody. I was out on the tailgate today. There's ice in the bed of my truck, so my toes are cold right now, but they're going to get warm. And we did Hebrews today. You'd think you'd stop what you're doing and read the story of Jesus, but most churches are doing that. And so I thought, well, I'll just keep on. We were at Hebrews was scheduled for today, and so we read Hebrews today and commented on it. And the wondrous thing is that Jesus is superior to so many things, and the letter to Hebrews calls us to consider Jesus. So it's a good one for Christmas. Now, tomorrow we will look at the letter written by James, which I've struggled with. Well, shall we do that one on Christmas Day? And yet, James, we think that James was the brother of Jesus. So he may have been an older brother, someone who knew all about the birth of Jesus, or at least was with relatives who knew all about it. So we can look at James tomorrow. And then we're nearly finished with that series with preaching through the Bible. Yes, and we're coming at it here uh, from the very beginning. We have looked at some of the first books of the Bible, and now we're ready for Numbers today. I hope you are doing well. Some of you have a lot of snow. We don't have snow, and we did not have icy roads. The night the temperature dropped at midnight, it was raining. And I asked God, please let it dry up before it freezes. And God did it. The wind, God sent the wind, and it dried up the water, so we didn't have freezing roads. And I was able to get into my truck the next day, pull a little bit to break the ice that was there. God is so good. So we are going to read from Numbers today. Actually, I chose Numbers 11 to focus our thoughts on. Numbers 11, 12, and 21. But let's pray. Most holy God, we come to you at this Christmas season so grateful for the gift of your Son. We thank you for the season by which we are called to remember you. So now we ask that you will bless us as we read from your word. In Jesus' name, amen. Numbers 11. Numbers is near the beginning of the Bible. Numbers is after Leviticus, which we looked at last week. We want Numbers 11. Numbers 11, 1, and then some other verses in chapter 11. And when the people complained, it displeased the Lord. Now, verse 16, and the Lord said to Moses, gather 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom you know to be elders of the people, and officers over them, and bring them to the tabernacle of the congregation, that they may stand there with me, or with you. And I will come down and talk with you there. And I will take of the Spirit which is on you, and will put it on them. And they will bear the burden of the people with you, that you won't have to bear it yourself alone. Verse 25, and the Lord came down in a cloud and spoke unto them and took of the spirit that was on him and gave it to the 70 elders. And it came to pass that when the spirit rested upon them, they prophesied and did not cease. But there remained 2 of the men in the camp. The name of the one was Eldad, and the name of the other Medad. And the spirit rested on them, and they were of those who were written, but went not to the tabernacle. And they prophesied in the camp. And there ran a young man and told Moses and said, Eldad and Medad prophesy in the camp. And Joshua, the son of Nun, the servant of Moses, one of his young men, answered and said, My lord Moses, forbid them. And Moses said to him, Do you envy for my sake? Would to God that all the Lord's people were prophets, and that the Lord would put his spirit upon all of them. And here's Numbers 12, starting with verse 6. And he said, Hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known to him in a vision, and will speak to him in a dream. My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all my house. With him I will speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches. And the similitude of the Lord will he behold. For this reason, then, were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? And here's Numbers 21, starting with verse 5. And the people spoke against God and against Moses. Why have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loathes this light bread. And the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much people of Israel died. Therefore the people came to Moses and said, We have sinned, for we have spoken against the Lord and against you. Pray to the Lord that he will take away the serpents from us. And Moses prayed for the people. And the Lord said to Moses, Make a fiery serpent and set it on a pole, and it will come to pass that everyone who is bitten, when that person looks on the snake, will live. And Moses made a serpent of brass and put it on a pole. And it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man or woman, when that person beheld the serpent of brass, he lived. We're preaching through the Bible. In the last couple weeks, we did Genesis, Exodus, and Leviticus. In Genesis, we heard of God creating the earth, the week, the family tie, and the Sabbath. Then we heard of Abraham and the beginnings of the nation of Israel. In Exodus, we heard of Moses being told by God to go to Egypt and bring Israel out of slavery there into Canaan, where God had a place for them. First, the Lord brought them to a large plain around Sinai, a tall mountain where God gave them their civil laws and their worship plans. Many of these are recorded for us in Leviticus. The book of Numbers is a book of accountings or journal entries of their journey from Sinai to Canaan. According to Numbers 33, they had more than 35 camp strikes and pitches during those 40 years. Let us see if we can discover some themes in this journal of their journeys. In the book of Numbers, I learned not to be complaining. As soon as they left Sinai, they complained and it displeased the Lord. The food was not meat, the water was not sweet and fizzy. Moses' wife was not of Israel. Early reconnoiters said they couldn't survive in the place God had for them. The three of the men created a real mutiny against Moses, taking 250 leading men with them. And when they died of their mutiny, the people complained that they had died. Finally, the nation of Edom wouldn't let them cross through their land. And while going around, they got tired and whiny. They added all their complaints into a string, and the Lord let the snakes loose. He had kept the snakes and other wild predators muzzled while Israel journeyed. I will tell you what happened in a minute. I will tell you now, I don't want to be complaining. In the book of Numbers, I learn about leadership issues. At first, it was Moses all by himself. Then his brother Aaron and sister Miriam helped him. Two of Aaron's sons, who were would-be priests, got drunk and mocked the worship of God. They died. God laid spirit-led leadership on 70 more people. Miriam and Aaron wanted more of the leadership. The crowd had to wait while Miriam got well from that. 12 spies brought back a cowardly report, and Israel had to turn back from their goal. 3 leaders wanted Moses out. They died along with the people who joined them. I noticed that those who were chosen by God did get to lead, always following and teaching the people to follow Moses, whom they trusted as following God. There were even some leaders that God had chosen, but Moses missed, and they still got to lead in their own sphere. I want to choose well the people I follow. I want to find people who follow those who follow God. In the book of Numbers, I learned how prophecy works. When 2 men were caught prophesying, whom Moses had not tagged for that, Moses refused to forbid them and said, "Would to God that all the Lord's people were prophets." God said he will speak to prophets in visions and dreams, but to Moses, face to face. This face-to-face encounter with God was extra leadership capability in Moses. There is a sphere in which I'm called to lead, and though it may not be the top position, I want to lead fearlessly in the place I am allowed. Upon the mounting complaints, God let the snakes loose. They bit and killed many people. At God's command, Moses put a sculpture of a snake on a pole where all could look at it, and if they did, they lived. Jesus later referred to this story as a parable of himself, lifted up on the cross so humans can live. I want to look and follow and lead toward Jesus so many can live. So I have a few questions for you just to ponder. What have you heard and what do you believe about the historicity of these numbers? There are large numbers, 500,000 people. But for comparison, consider that Israel's population was about 1 million in 1949. 2 million in 1958, 3 million in 1970, 4 million in 1982, 5 million in 1991, 6 million in 1998, 7 million in 2006, 8 million in 2013. So 500,000 people is not that many compared to what's there now. Just pondering. So when is it a good thing to gather numbers? And when is it wrong? Does it have to do with the time in history? Or does it have to do with which numbers are gathered? Or does it have to do with the purpose or the result of gathering them? In Numbers are the prophecies of Jesus. So I want to ask you, who else might have heard of Balaam's prophecies besides Balak, the king that he did them for? How do you think those prophecies by someone who was not an Israelite got into the Hebrew scriptures? And how did they get spread to other places? Just some questions about Numbers, the book of Numbers. All right, I want to pray for us. Join me if you wish. Lord God in heaven, Merry Christmas. It is the day that the day today and tomorrow that we think about your birth. Many, many churches and families are reading the stories from the Bible about your birth, about Jesus coming to earth. I read in Hebrews about Jesus coming to earth and then returning to be our priest, superior to every other possibility. And so we're coming to you today. Jesus said he's our priest and that we're to come boldly to you through him. So that's what we're doing. And we do confess that we so often do not, even in the midst of this Christmas season, when it's all about you, we have so many lists and so many things to do that we often go about forgetting to contemplate you. We ask your forgiveness. We believe that Jesus bought that forgiveness on the cross for us. And now we ask for your help in living. We ask that you would send your Spirit upon us, that you would lead us in the ways we should go, especially in the decisions that are being made for cities, states, nations, and global decisions. We believe that you have your ambassador in every meeting, and we ask that you will work things to your glory so that you can bring your kingdom here to earth. And we thank you for caring for us. We thank you for the many things you have done. I thank you for our events that we were able to do without any injuries or apparent huge difficulties or disasters. We praise you for that. We thank you for many families being able to get together over these days. We thank you. I thank you for the rain of the last 3 or 4 weeks to help our water table and our ground in our garden. We ask for your special blessing for those who may not be having such a happy Christmas, for those who've lost someone or something very dear during this last year, and so this Christmas is very difficult. We pray for those who are very depressed or lonely at this time of year. Just at this time of year and all the festivities make the loneliness all the more felt, severe, intense. And so I ask that you will be with each of those. I also ask that you would be with anyone who is food or home insecure right now, that this Christmas may have some blessing for each person, no matter where they are, that you will come close to those who are calling on your name, that you will make this the best Christmas ever because of your presence. And now we thank you. We know we will be praising you throughout eternity. And we're thanking you now in Jesus' name. Amen. So I'm Wilma Zalabak. I'm with Grace Chapel Fellowship, which is a church to bless other churches. We're listening is our unity. And yes, you've already noticed I have 6 themes that always come through in my preaching. 1, God is good. 2, humans have been taken away from good. 3, Jesus came to bring us back. And 4, God can, I can't, and I decide to let him. 2 more. 1, the Bible is worth reading. And 2, the Sabbath is a gift worth remembering. So I wish you all just the very best of family and joy this Christmas, today and tomorrow. And I'll see you next week.